Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Malone, and this is my very first review. And I've chosen my new favorite show, Power. I'm going to be reviewing episode 304. I'm going to be reviewing episode 304. Don't worry, baby. This review will not consist of a scene by scene breakdown of everything that happened, but it will explore some of the overarching themes of the show and why I think the writing is great and what the secret to this show being a hit is. I think Omari Hardwick is the key to the success of the show. He's a leading man quality. He's great looking and he's a great actor. He also briefly starred in one of my other favorite shows, being Mary Jane. And I can honestly say in this episode, don't worry baby, I noticed another level of his depth as an actor. So let's get started. I'm going to be alternating between my glasses and not my glasses like an old lady. It's better than look, or maybe I should look over. Yeah. Scene 1. This was very cleverly shot. It opens with Tasha. So Tasha's standing in the mirror getting dressed. She's in her undies, and it pans to Angela. The shot switches to Angela getting dressed, and then to Ghost, who's in the restroom, and he is undressed. And I think it really points to one of the key elements of their relationship. They are all involved in this threesome, this love triangle that no one's happy with, but there really isn't an alternative. If you recall from prior shows, James St. Patrick, aka Ghost, tells Tasha that he couldn't risk them getting a divorce, so she has this crazy prenuptial so that if she leaves she gets nothing, so she has to stay married to him. There's only one catch. He's in love with Angela and he wants a new life with Angela. Well, Angela doesn't want to be a mistress. So you see James St. Patrick / Ghost always on this juggling act. And he's trying to keep Angela happy, but he also has to keep Tasha happy. And Tasha doesn't seem too pressed about him, although she misses him. However, they're stuck. Just wanted to point that out. So, this is also a great scene because Ghost is kind of reaping his comeuppance. In the prior episode, his son Tariq takes Angela's gun. He gets in trouble at school. He gets suspended. There's this big hoopla about that. And because of that dust-up, Tasha, who had been very, very gracious in letting her children stay at the mistress's house, revokes that privilege. And she's like, no, my daughter Raina, I don't want her coming home with a flipping switchblade. She didn't say flipping. But at the end of the scene is also very key that Angela says, oh, Paz is coming for dinner. And it's kind of funny. The names of the characters mean so much. It's very allegorical. Paz means peace in Spanish. However, when she gets there, she sows discord. She does everything except peace. She is like this cold water dash in Angela's face because she and Ghost for the past 2 seasons, they've been in this like whirlwind love affair, and it's all a fairy tale, and it's like, oh, we found each other again and we're gonna live happily ever after. And yeah, Paz is like, no, papi, you need to answer some questions, okay? So, scene 2, Tommy and Holly. Oh my gosh, this was the most awkward love, I guess you can call it a love scene, that I've ever seen. It was very telling about their relationship. She and Tommy are in the throes of intercourse, and Tommy is so distant. She could have been a beanbag or something. Sorry. But yeah, she could have been anyone, anybody, or anything. He just was not there. And there's this moment when she tries to kiss him and he like flips her over. And as soon as they're done, he's like, yeah, call Tasha. We got business to take care of. And I'm just thinking, like, that was awkward. So, because, he wants to get back to business, Holly's like, yo, what's up with killing Ghost? And he's like, yeah, I couldn't do it. I had to wash my hair. Whatever kind of crazy excuse he has. So, the wheels in Holly's head, they're really turning. And the actress who plays Holly, and I can't think of her name right now. If you can remember, put it in the comments. She must be really great because she has the ability to make everyone hate Holly. However, I don't hate Holly. I'm the one, I don't hate her. I see that she kind of found her tribe because every last one of these characters, they're liars, they're crooked, they're conniving. They do have some human element that makes you, connect and feel for them, but they're all same band of misfits, and I love them. So, one band of misfits to another, Jukebox and the Crew. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, she's meeting with all her, I call them scrubs because they're like expendable, and she's handing out, jobs. Okay, Dirk, you're gonna do the silent alarm, and they all have these weird names. And so 50 or Kanan walks in, and they're like, who is this dude? I'm using nice words. And this guy, gosh, I can't think of his name. I should have written it down. He's like, yeah, we don't need a chimpanzee messing up our thing or whatever. And so 50's just like, you don't know who you're talking to. Blah, blah, blah. So Jukebox wants to know if Kanan is up to pulling the trigger if he has to. Which leads to the other weird scene that's so weird it eclipsed the Tommy and Holly weird sex scene. And it's like Candy, who is Jukebox's girlfriend, has this this interaction with Kanan to see if his hands work. So yeah, use your imagination. It was so weird and almost gratuitous. I'm like, couldn't they have had him like type on a laptop? I don't know, but that was just it was so strange. And then it pans to Jukebox while they're in this room doing this thing, and she's like smoking marijuana, clearly disturbed by their interaction. So to me, it didn't make sense. I guess from a writer's perspective, it's edgy or it's risque. But there's a line. It was almost pornographic, and I was just like, let me skip past this part. I always watch Power a couple times because I always want to get the little nuances that I missed, and every time I watch it, I skip past that part. Yeah, so Ghost head of security. Can someone please let me know his name? Because I want to call him Scarface. He has the slash face, which makes him look super imposing. But yeah, he is asking him, like, is the threat specific? Do you appreciate what we're doing? How do you think we're doing? Ghost says you're doing great. And he's like, well, who's after you? If the threat is specific, we can better prevent it. And Ghost like, yeah, he's still being elusive. He's still Ghost in this James St. Patrick suit because a ghost is elusive. He's like, yeah, it's just everybody wants what I got and blase, skippity boo boo boo. So then, oh my gosh, this was like the best scene. Angela gets the bright idea to go to Tasha's apartment to meet her. So Tasha's walking in just bad to the bone, dressed to the nine. Well, she's Tasha, and she's happy. It was if she could have been whistling and skipping, if that would have made sense for the character, she would have been doing that. So she comes in and she looks and she sees Angela and her whole face drops. And Angela stands up, and so then Tasha's like, she gets scared. She's like, is he in jail? And she's like, no. And she asks, well, is he dead? And Angela's like, no, Jamie's fine. And so Tasha's like, so what are you here for? And Angela goes into this spiel like, oh, I got Tariq's record expunged, and they reported it to the police, but I took care of it. It was the least that I can do. And Tasha's like, yeah, it's the least. So they have their little their engagement, and Tasha says something that is so poignant. She tells Angela, she's like, you didn't do this for me, and you didn't do it for Tariq. You did it for Ghost. And if you stay in this thing with him, you're going to be doing for Ghost the rest of your life. And we can clearly see that that's where this thing is heading, because later on in the episode, you see that they're really honing in. They find Ruiz. He's going to testify. He could bring down the whole syndicate. So Angela is really in this pickle. It's like, are you going to protect the man you love, or are you going to save your own behind in your own job? And you can really see how Angela may have usurped Tasha's place as the lady in Ghost's life, but she also took on the responsibility of taking care of Jamie, but in a different way. Tasha took care of Ghost in the sense of she took care of his kids, she took care of his house. If he needed, she even assisted him with trying to figure out when the whole syndicate, their little chain, how do you say it? their little network was fractured. So she even assisted him there. And we learned later that she's an accountant, so she assisted him in business. So she helped Ghost in that sense. Whereas Angela is helping Ghost because she's keeping the feds just barely off of his scent. So, and it's very poignant that Angela calls him James. She says, James is okay. And Tasha says, what are you going to be doing for Ghost? So she's constantly reminding her of, this is the guy you're with. Never forget it. So, Tommy and the Koreans. Tommy, I love Tommy, I really do, but he's such a hothead, and he does things that you're just like, no, Tommy, don't do it, Tommy. Don't do it, Tommy. But he goes to see the Koreans. He's kind of throwing it in his face that, about the sun weakening the product, or I don't know the drug terminology, but he adds stuff to the product so that it's more and sells it, and he was pocketing the money. So when his dad finds out, he gives him some old ancient like samurai justice and makes him cut off his own finger. So at the end of that scene, Tommy goes to shake his hand and he squeezes his hand, and I'm just thinking to myself, Tommy, Tommy? This guy's gonna get you. So fast forward, right? We have Greg and Ruiz. Greg is back. He is back at the office. I think it's Mike is introducing him. And remember, Mike's crooked. And Angela can just be bought for a wooden nickel. It's like Greg is back. Not only is he back, he has cracked their case wide open. And so he's heralded as this hero, and there's like nothing she can do about it. Because in the back of her mind, she knows who the real Ghost is. And if Ruiz actually testifies and tells the whole truth, Jamie's going down. So, I thought the other scene was my best scene, but this scene is actually the best scene ever. It's when Angela comes home from work. I mean, this is her dream, right? They have their own apartment. James is there. He's cooking. She walks in and she's like, "Oh, how was your day?" And and he's like, "You went to see Tasha?" And she's just like, yeah. So he's not happy about this at all. He's like, why do you go see Tasha? You didn't ask me. And Angela, she's a boss chick. She's like, "Oh, Jamie, I don't have to ask you." I know that accent is so bad, but anyway. She's like, "Jamie, I don't have to ask your permission." And he's like, "Yes, you do. Especially when it comes to my wife." And it was just like, side chick awareness moment. Like if there was like some type of PSA, it was so telling. And that Ghost Jamie, whatever you want to call him, he's possessive, he's domineering, and I don't know we see in another scene how Tasha says she basically did what he wanted her to do. And you have Angela, who is her own woman. So I don't know how that dynamic is going to work out in the future. And so, yeah, it was going to be a huge, huge, huge blow up, but Paz rings the doorbell. So, yeah, let's see. Where are we? Oh, Paz. Peace enters the door. And it's telling that she speaks Spanish to Angela when she greets her in Spanish. And then Jamie tries to talk Spanish to her and she answers him in English. She's like, yeah, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. So they have this dinner scene and Paz sees a rent receipt. She's very nosy, but she's a sister. I mean, hey. And she's like, oh, so Jamie paid your rent? Angela always pays her for her own things. And it may seem like a little passing thing, but there's a financial transaction now that links Angela to James St. Patrick. So I want you to put that in the back of your mind. So Angela gets upset when Paz says, she asks how are the kids taking the divorce. She's like, oh yeah, you didn't get divorced. So that's another slap of cold ice water in Angela's face. And she, walks off or whatever. And, Jamie's still trying to, appease Paz. He had asked about her son earlier, and she said he's looking for a job. He's like, yeah, he could work at the club. She's like, no, I don't want him to be in an awkward situation. He's like, how? And she's like, yeah, just in case you and Angela don't work out. I love Paz. She is like no holds barred. So we have a scene with Tasha Tariq, and they're talking about the counseling, and she's trying to tell him, only tell the counselor, as much as he needs to know. And then, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. The heist. The heist scene was a nice change in pace. It was glossy. It was fast paced. In terms of the action, and some of the actual action was slowed down, but it would switch scenes very quickly. So it's like the movements were in slow motion when they were getting out the cars, very Dead Presidents. And then they're flashing scenes, and it's almost like your adrenaline's pumping. And we really get to see that Kanan is not reformed. Him being burned half to death did not give him some type of come to Jesus moment. Kanan is a snake. He's a snake, he's a snake, he's a snake. And Dirk, who is working in this jewelry store, and he is the point man. He's the guy who lets them in, and Kanan comes in, he grabs him, and he's slinging him around. He's like, dude, why are you being so rough? He opens the safe, he gets all he's the snatch guy, or snatch and grab guy. And then he points the gun at Dirk, and he shoots him in the forehead, just point blank. So he kills Dirk, and we see them jump in this SUV without plates. And as they pass this alley, it cuts to Jukebox, who is in her squad car, and she's like, yeah, just saw a black SUV, no plates, 4 white males, and she sends them in the opposite direction, which is kind of crazy. But after that scene, we go into Tariq, Tommy, Holly, and Tasha. Now, this is kind of, I would say this scene is building up to Holly's ultimate demise, because she is gunning for trouble. They get to the house. Tommy wants leftovers, of course. He loves to eat. And he makes this joke about Holly needing to learn how to cook. And she's like, yeah, I got other skills. And he's like, yeah, I know that's right. So it's always kind of funny to hear Tommy speak, because he speaks as if he grew up in the hood, which I guess he did. So Tasha notices that Holly pours her wine down the drain. And she gets her alone, and she finds out she's pregnant. And she's just like, are you nuts? You just been in the game a minute. What are you going to do, be a drug dealer's baby mama? And so Holly's all like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was just looking at my options. So Tasha finds out she hasn't told Tommy, and she's like, yeah, if you abort this baby and you don't tell Tommy, I don't want to be you. Because everybody knows Tommy's nuts. He's nuts. In the meantime, we see Tommy on a softer side. He is counseling Tariq. He's upset that he got suspended. Tasha told him before she left with Holly, and he's trying to school him. And it's like Tasha and Ghost thought they were so slick with their game, they were hiding their double lives. But kids know more than they let on to. And so Tariq is just like, my parents don't want me to tell the counselor everything. And Tommy's like, yeah, they're right. And then he's like, they're not honest with me. I don't know what happened to Sean. My dad's living with Angela. He gets to do whatever he wants. And then Tommy's even co-signing it. But then he's like, yeah, but your dad loves you. Tariq's like, yeah, he gets to do whatever he wants. And he gets away with it. And I think the writers are sowing this little seed of discord because I think there's going to be some type of issue with Tariq and Kanan. And if you remember from the end of the scene, the show, Jukebox is telling Kanan, he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill Ghost. He ain't going to give me a second time. And Jukebox is just like, yeah, he's worth more to you alive. What did he really take from you? And she's hinting at, Ghost took your son. He took him figuratively in that he was more loyal to Ghost than Kanan. And he caused the rift that led to Kanan ultimately shooting him. So in my opinion, Jukebox was planting a seed in Kanan's mind. Now keep in mind, Kanan is all juiced off of that lean or syrup or whatever they call it. So he's still not thinking too clearly, in my opinion. And I go back to how I say the names of the characters mean things. And Jukebox is an old school record player. And in the jukebox, the mechanical arm selects a record, plays it, and when it's done, it picks it up and puts it back in its slot. And I can really see that Jukebox was kind of miffed that earlier in the scene, and I know I'm jumping around a lot, Kanan actually sleeps with Candy. They went from doing the whole fondling thing to the full-on thing. And Candy, of course, tells Jukebox. And Jukebox, in my opinion, that's when Kanan crossed the line. Because at the end, they're at the strip club. She's like, yeah, you're buying all night for sleeping with Candy. He's like, what? She told you? She's like, yeah, she told me. And that's where they have this discussion where Jukebox is saying, yeah, you really need to try to really get Ghost. Don't just kill him. And I think that Jukebox is, in a way, setting Kanan up for failure. That's just my theory, but hey, as a writer, I think I would play it that way. Because they're not going to kill Ghost. They can't kill Ghost. He's a show. They can, however, knock Kanan off. So, after all of this, I mean, there are tons and tons of other scenes. Oh, the best scene. I almost missed it. Andre. Gotta love Andre. So Andre is back on the block. He's back at that chicken shack. And one of his boys, they're having this discussion, and he lets out, he's like, yeah, since you're so loyal to Ghost, yeah, I heard that the Koreans, they're gonna like this, he calls him a white N-word. They're gonna light him up. And he was like, Andre's like, what, Tommy? He's like, yeah, that's the only dude I know. So with this newfound information, Andre, he goes outside and he's calling Ghost, and he's like, Ghost, I'm back on the block. And Ghost is like, what are you doing on the block? I told you not to go back there. He's like, yeah, but I got some information. They're going to light Tommy up at this church, one where the priest is crooked. I don't know where it is. And then Ghost James is like, yeah, I know where it is. He's like, you want me to go? You want me to go after him? Because, Andre is still street. He's still hood. He wants to get into some action. And Jamie's like, nah, get back to the club. So all the while he's having this conversation, his security guy is in the cut. And I love, love, love this scene. When James St. Patrick hangs up the phone, there is this scene where the camera, he's staring at the camera. And if you look at his face, it's like the sound of the club drowns out. It's a close-up and his countenance changes. He gets, the wrinkles in his brow. He starts to frown. It's almost as if his skin even becomes darker. And we can see Ghost possess James St. Patrick. And something is about to happen. So we get to the next scene. Tommy is in the confessional with the crooked priest, and he's getting his money. He actually confesses to the priest. They were joking around, but when Tommy's like, I have to do this thing, I have to break this commandment, I don't think I can do it, you see the crooked priest actually put on his collar and go into priest mode. And they have this kind of kamikaze confession. And Tommy says, I don't think I can do it. And the priest says, well, I don't think it's what it is, but who it is. And perhaps you should think about who gets hurt if you don't. So it's almost as if he's giving him the green light to go ahead and kill Ghost. So Tommy leaves, and as he's walking down the street, this dark car pulls up. You can tell these Korean guys, and they have scarves tied around their faces, and they start shooting. They hit him in the arm. He falls behind this car, and they're just like bam, 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 bam. AK-47s, whatever they call them. They're just like lighting them up. And out of the cut comes Ghost. He's all in a hoodie, and he runs to the other side of the vehicle, and he pop, 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 pop. He kills two of the guys, and the driver drives off. But before Tommy can get up and see who saved him, he runs off. As he's running off, the camera pans to a car, and sitting in the car is the head of the security. So he knows that James St. Patrick, I don't know if he knows he's Ghost, but he knows that he's a murderer. So pretty sure that's going to lead to some more drama in the future. And Tommy gets home. Holly sees he's shot. She's like, oh, tell me what's wrong. And he's like, they lit me up. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, who did it? I don't know. Then he's like, it was Lobos. So she gets the bright idea. She's had enough. She's pregnant with this man's baby. He won't kill Ghost. She's afraid for their lives. She's like, don't worry, baby, which is the name of the episode. She got it. And she gets ready to leave. He's like, what are you doing? I'm going to get some gauze and some peroxide so your wound doesn't get infected. But she secretly goes to see the Jamaicans that he just casually mentioned earlier when she was asking him to hire someone to kill Ghost, which is crazy. And she walks in the restaurant. The lady says, you want food? She's like, no, I'm not hungry. She's like, you need to speak to my son. And she's like, yeah. So she takes him back there. He's like, give me the money before we talk. She gives him the money. He's like, who's the target? And she holds up her phone, and it's a picture of Ghost Jamie. She says, James St. Patrick. And the look on the Jamaican's face lets me know, Holly, you in danger, girl. And that was it. So I hope you enjoyed my first review. I hope to be reviewing more. I only really like 2 shows on right now, Power and Being Mary Jane, and that hasn't started yet. If you have any other suggestions, I will also do those reviews.